Hi all, Andy here and welcome back to the channel where it's a crisp November morning here in the UK and I figured it's time to take the 3.2 out for its weekly run to keep all the bits and pieces going. I also thought it would be a great opportunity for me to chat to you about what I think about this particular car in the first 3 months of ownership and also my thoughts on the current marketplace here in the UK for Audi TT Mk1s. Let's hop in the car and get going. Now it is very important during the winter months when you're not driving the car as often as you once were that you do take the car out for a weekly spin just to keep all the fluids moving and everything turning as it should. Now you could take your car off the road completely for the winter and I do a video on how to overwinter your car and hibernate your car. So if you've not already seen the video on that, then please do click the link above. So while we pull away for the drive, nice and slowly, because we don't want to put that 3.2 V6 engine under any load. We're going to be driving this car very gently for the first few miles because we need to get the car engine oil temperature up to 90 degrees. Until we hit that 90 degrees, the engine is not getting its full protection from the oil, something I cover in great detail in my 3.2 V6 engine deep dive video. So if you are interested in the wear and tear to the timing chains and the various engine components that can occur, then please do check out the deep dive video I've got linked above. For those regular channel viewers, you'll know this is my second VR6 3.2 TT that I've owned, and it's much newer with much less miles than the blue one, and so far during my ownership it's given me trouble-free mileage. I've done now around about 600 miles in it since I purchased the car, so it's still sitting at 66,000 miles, which is quite low for a Mk1 of this year. But it is important to take the car out at least once a week during the winter months. I think it started first time, it runs perfectly well, I've got no engine warning lights coming on, so that's all great. The battery is now obviously being charged by the alternator, so that keeps the battery topped up nicely as well, which is another common fault with people that take them off the road over the winter. The battery ends up dying unless you put it on a trickle charger. So what are my initial thoughts on this car since I've owned it? Well, I think it's been a really robust, solid car so far. Since I've had the car in my ownership though, I have noticed a few niggles with the bodywork that didn't jump out on me when I first picked it up. Now we knew about the roof rails and that they were flaking with paint and a bit of corrosion, but what I had not noticed when I picked it up, because I don't think it was there when I picked it up, the passenger wing has got some cracks in the paintwork, which to me is smelling of filler and it's been patched up for sale. The paintwork on that wing looks really good actually, so it makes me think it's been blown over to hide any potential problems. There's been a couple of rust spots that have appeared under the paint. You can see the paint bubbling as well. Rattles and suspension wise, the car is really solid, so I'm really pleased with that because the blue car had a few squeaks and bumps. I think this feels a much newer car even though they are technically the same age. Just a couple of weeks ago, the car had its first MOT under my ownership, and I felt that would give me a good indication of the condition of the car, particularly underneath and all of the various suspension components. It got a fairly clean bill of health, and the only thing that it got an advisory on was one of the CV boots on the outer drive shaft on the front has perished or severely deteriorated and needs to be replaced. Now that's a job I have undertaken on the inner CV boot, and there's a video on my channel covering that, and I will leave a link to that above. However, I've not done the outer CV boot, which should be an easier job, so I am going to undertake that on the channel shortly. Jobs I know I still need to do on the car are, I'm going to get the pixelated dash replaced. It's not too bad, but it definitely needs doing. I'm also going to replace the double-din stereo that I've got here with the original TT components. Now I've got them back from the original owner. The paintwork that we've talked about, I'm going to get that done also before the first big show of next year I'll be attending in April, which is the International TT show over in Belgium. And I'm also going to get those parking sensors removed from the rear bumper. I've got a spare rear bumper at home that I'm going to have painted papaya and have that refitted. A friend of mine is a painter, so I'm going to get him to do all of the bodywork and get the car looking absolutely tip-top for the show season next year. So the current marketplace for the car. How is the Audi TT Mk1 looking right now? Something that I know many of you will be interested in. There's a couple of videos that have come out from other YouTube content creators recently on this, but right now it's definitely a buyer's market for the Audi TT Mk1. There's loads of cars for sale, loads of condition and quality cars, so something to suit every pocket. The reason I say it's a buyer's market is because there are just so many cars available. People are genuinely struggling to sell their cars also. The prices are quite low, and even then cars are not shifting. Activity on the second-hand car market overall seems to be quite weak at the moment. Now the car is up to temperature. I'm going to give it a little bit of a boot. You cannot beat the sound of that engine. Don't forget, I sold my 3.2 V6 back in August for £3,250. It had 118,000 miles on when I sold it. And I think with that sort of mileage, right now, you would struggle to get that for a 3.2 V6. Most of the cars around that mileage seem to be a lot lower than even £3,000. There are also people that are pricing their 3.2 V6s much higher than I asked for in August. But I do notice those cars are still for sale. Cars that jump out to me right now, of course, are the Papaya cars. In fact, if you look on Facebook Marketplace right now, there are two Audi TT Mk1 3.2 V6 Papayas for sale, and they are very different prices. Going back just a few months, and you could easily ask £10,000 for a 3.2 V6 Papaya car, and right now the two that are for sale are priced a lot lower than that. There's a 90,000 mile car up for sale and it's being asked for £8,500. It is a Japanese import, but it is also a Papaya car, and that's been for sale for some time and not shifted. There's also a car with very similar miles for sale, a UK car, and that's up for £7,250, and even that car hasn't sold. So the rare colour cars that were demanding very good money just a few months ago seem to be struggling to sell also. Fortunately, when I bought my car, I didn't pay anywhere near £7,000 because I got a really good deal and a much lower price. In fact, it's been some time now, so I'm happy to tell you exactly what I paid for this car. I paid £5,250 for this 65,000 mile Audi TT Mk1 in Papaya. I think that was a steal. All versions of the Mk1 are struggling to sell at the moment, particularly roadsters because it is winter time, but even the coupes are struggling. The 180s, the 225s, the Quattro Sports, the special edition models and the 3.2s are all asking significantly lower money than they were just a few months ago. But that puts you in a really good position if you're looking to buy a car. Because of the low price and it being a buyer's market, you can pick up a real bargain. But I would also advise, because of the volume of cars that are for sale right now, shop around. Make sure you don't buy the first car you see because you've got plenty of choice out there. So that is my thoughts on the market right now and a little tour around the local area in the car to give it its weekly run. I hope you've enjoyed watching today, and if you have, then please do give this video a thumbs up and also think about subscribing to my channel if you've not already done so, where you'll find a whole host of content on the Audi TT Mk1. As always, thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care. Time to get this back in the garage.